effort. We had a meeting, and when a meeting was over, we said thank you to the meeting makers for having made the meeting. Very rarely did we say anything negative or derogatory about meetings. We all knew there was a good deal of pointlessness to nearly all the meetings, and in fact 1 meeting out of every 3 or 4 was nearly perfectly without gain or purpose. But many meetings revealed the one thing that was necessary, and so we attended them, and afterward we thanked each other. Karen Wu always had something new to tell us, and we hated her guts for it. She would start talking, and our eyes would glaze over. Might it be true, as we sometimes feared on the commute home, that we were callous, unfeeling individuals, incapable of sympathy and full of spite toward people for no reason other than their proximity and familiarity? We had these sudden revelations that employment, the daily 9 to 5, was driving us far from our better selves. Should we quit? Would that solve it? Or were those qualities innate, dooming us to nastiness and paucity of spirit? We hoped not. Marcia Dwyer became famous for sending an email to Genevieve Latko Devine. Marcia often wrote to Genevieve after meetings. "It is really irritating to work with irritating people," she once wrote. There she ended it and waited for Genevieve's response. Usually, when she got Genevieve's email, instead of writing back, which would take too long, Marcia was an art director, not a writer, she would head down to Genevieve's office, close the door, and the two women would talk. The only thing bearable about the irritating event involving the irritating person was the thought of telling it all to Genevieve, who would understand better than anyone else. But the email Marcia got back was not from Genevieve. It was from Jim Jackers. "Are you talking about me?" he wrote. Amber Ludwig wrote, "I'm not Genevieve." Benny Schossberger wrote, "I think you goofed." Tom Moda wrote, "Ha." Marcia was mortified. She got 65 emails in 2 minutes. One from HR cautioned her against sending personal emails. Jim wrote a second time, "Can you please tell me, is it me, Marcia? Am I the irritating person you're talking about?" In those days, it wasn't rare for someone to push someone else down the hall really fast in a swivel chair. Games aside, we spent most of our time inside long, silent pauses as we bent over our individual desks, working on some task at hand, lost to it, until Benny, bored, came and stood in the doorway. "What are you up to?" he'd ask. It could have been any of us. "Working," was the usual reply. Then Benny would tap his topaz class ring on the doorway and drift away. How we hated our coffee mugs, our mouse pads, our desk clocks, our daily calendars, the contents of our desk drawers. Even the photos of our loved ones taped to our computer monitors for uplift and support turned into cloying reminders of time served. But when we got a new office, a bigger office, and we brought everything with us into the new office, how we loved everything all over again, and thought hard about where to place things, and looked with satisfaction at the end of the day at how well our old things looked in this new, improved, important space. There was no doubt in our minds just then that we had made all the right decisions, whereas most days we were men and women of two minds. Everywhere you looked, in the hallways and bathrooms, the coffee bar and the cafeteria, the lobbies and the print stations, there we were with our two minds. There seemed to be only the one electric pencil sharpener in the whole damn place. We didn't have much patience for cynics. Everyone was a cynic at one point or another, but it did us little good to bemoan our unbelievable fortunes. At the national level, things had worked out pretty well in our favor, and entrepreneurial cash was easy to come by. Cars available for domestic purchase, cars that could barely fit in our driveways, had a martial appeal and a promise that, once inside them, no harm would come to our children. It was IPO this and IPO that. Everyone knew a banker, too. And how lovely it was, a bike ride around the forest preserve on a Sunday in May with our mountain bikes, water bottles, and safety helmets. Crime was at an all-time low, and we heard accounts of former welfare recipients holding steady jobs. New hair products were being introduced into the marketplace every day, and the glass shelves of our stylists were stocked with tidy rows of them, which we eyed in the mirror as we made small.